George Orwell, Animal Farm. Animal Farm by George Orwell is an exciting book full of plot twists and unfair rules, and the rise of animals against the humans, which ultimately ends up with the animals joining the humans after years of struggle, to keep them away, but, we'll get to that. I would say that this book is suspenseful and a suspenseful, sadder book. It involves pigs taking over the farm and forcing all the other animals to do hard work while they sit, supervise, and eat all the while the other animals work to death and get barely any food. The main character of this book is Napoleon the pig, or the main characters are Napoleon the pig, Snowball the pig, Squealer the pig, Boxer the horse, Clover the horse, Benjamin the donkey, and Mr. Jones the human, Mr. Pendrake the human, and a few other animals. But those are mostly just like sheeps and goose and geese and stuff. The story starts with a group of animals meeting on a farm after an old pig named Major has a dream about overthrowing the human race and turning all of England to peace, owned to a place owned by animals that had rised up from their farms and killed the owner or drove him/her away, which is pretty violent, but what you gonna do? After Major's death, and them driving Jones out of the farm, the animals tried to learn the alphabet so they could spell. The pigs were the smartest animals, and took charge, and the other animals could barely learn the alphabet, except Benjamin the donkey. He was pretty smart. He was the only one who knew just as much as a pig, but didn't really say anything, because, otherwise he would probably get killed. They made a set of rules to make sure that they did not turn into humans. Then they had them painted on the wall of a barn, which eventually they got erased and changed, and and everything became unfair. But we'll get there. Then they had a war with Jones and his men for the farm, because Jones wanted the farm back. So when they won, they found a gun to fire on every year of the anniversary of the Battle of Cowshed, and that's what they called that specific battle or war. Then they started trying to make a windmill, but Napoleon did not like this idea because it came from Snowball, and Napoleon and Snowball never really got along at all. Then Napoleon got a pack of dogs after he took them from their mothers and drove Snowball off the farm and almost killed him too if Snowball hadn't run. When he was gone, the pigs turned the farm into like a communist farm, and they gave the other animals lots of work, no food, while the pigs got fat and had no work. The hardest worker was a horse named Boxer, who was always working a few extra hours in the morning because he could. And after they finished the windmill, Jones came back and blew it up with TNT at the Battle of the Windmill. So they built it again. And actually, before he blew it up with TNT, this big wind came and knocked it down. But they all blamed it on Snowball because they all thought that he was an enemy. So they built it 3 times. And in the end, it was supposed to be made for electrical power, and it ultimately was to grind corn to make money for the pigs. So, the third time that they built the windmill, obviously Boxer was working really hard. He got injured, so the pigs took him to what they told all the other animals was a hospital, but it was actually a horse slaughter, so they could get more money, because, they wanted money, I guess. After that, we skip forward a few years to the year the pigs start to walk on 2 legs, wear clothes, smoke, and carry whips to beat animals that don't work. Which is, yes, pretty cruel. All of this was illegal due to the 7 commandments that the animals had made at the beginning of the rebellion, but the pigs painted over them, and on top of them wrote, "All animals are equal, but some are more equal than others." At this point, all the animals must have been thinking, this is sort of racist. It's animal racism. Just when you think things can't get any worse, the pigs have humans over for dinner and to play cards. when it was happening, the animals looked in the window and saw everyone drinking and talking, and some of them got into some fights. And it seemed that the pigs had turned into humans themselves, and that the whole time the animals were suffering and being starved. And then that's the end of pretty much the summary of a book, or of the book. When I first read this book, I really wasn't sure what to think when I finished it. But, now that I've read it a second time, it makes more sense. I do think, however, that this is good to read, but doesn't make a lot of sense at first. You kind of need to read it a few times or go back and read it. It throws you into everything that, the book has to offer right off the bat, giving you not giving you much explanation until later in the books. It's a very good book, but you are surprised on almost every page because something big happens. So if you skip anything, you'll most likely get lost and have to back up and read what you missed. I would say that if you like stories that make you mad and you want to help the people slash the animals in them, but you can't because it's a book, they're not real. And it's just a book full of content and is a really good story in general. So if you like more suspenseful books that keep you on your toes, this is probably the book for you. It is one of the books you just like, you can't put it down because you just want to keep reading and reading and reading to see what comes next. But like I said, it is suspenseful. It makes you feel bad for the animals. So if you are super sensitive, I would not read this book. That being said, if you love some amazing old literature filled to the brim with awesome text, you must read this book. I personally don't like reading, and even I thought it was a good book. So buy this book and start reading. That's all for now. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.